Today, we're gonna cover cryptocurrency examples of trading divergences and the Quasimodo pattern. Both methods are simple and effective to trade if you know what to look for. We'll start with a real trading example that I took and made over 50% profit with the Quasimodo pattern. The next example is about 100% textbook examples of trading divergences. Finally, I'll talk about an example that one of my subscribers sent it to me. I'll explain what to look for before entering the trade. Hello friends, hope you're doing great. I got really nice feedback about trading divergences with the follow-up Quasimodo pattern. Some people specifically asked for more examples for them. I decided to shoot a video about it. I will also cover full Quasimodo trading in another video. For now we are gonna mix them both, so if you miss one you can trade the other one. If you're ready, let's start. Okay, let's start with a Quasimodo example that I made over 50% profit recently. I'll do another video about full Quasimodo trading pattern in the price action lessons later on. I'm trying to warm you up with the smart money trading. It's much simpler and more effective than you think. The moment that I opened this chart, I understood that if we can break this higher low, we will have a market structure break and a possible Quasimodo to quickly trade. This is why I say this all the time. I identify setups and set my alarms to trade them. I never push myself to enter a trade. So many scalpers make this mistake again and again. They push themselves to enter a trade. As I said before, the Quasimodo pattern mostly appears after divergences. You can easily notice the divergence here with RSI and the MACD. In step 1, I confirmed the market structure break, breaking this higher low and making a new low. By now, you should understand and identify the MSB so easily, very obvious in all the charts. In step 2, I'm waiting for a lower high, which should have a similar price level with the left shoulder here. This is a great price level to set your alarms because I know that there will be a reaction here. Step 3. The hardest part is actually entries. Even pro traders with years of experience make mistakes a lot with entries. I'm no exception. There's no perfect entry or a perfect trade. After all, trading is the riskiest business in the world. Now, I always experiment with different entry methods and try to find better ones. Right now, pin bars, hammers, and spinning bars are my main universal indications at swing points. This little pin bar is my main indication for a reversal trade here. In the previous video, I said that I always enter a long position with green candlesticks and short positions with red candlesticks. So here what I did is, after this pin bar, I waited for a red candlestick. I choose the second red candlestick as my entry point. I placed my stop loss at the top. My target is around 2R as usual, just very close to this low because this area could act as a support or make a double bottom here. This is important. I always watch my trades as much as possible. There is no rule that I'm gonna take my profit at 2R. I may close the position early if I see a weakness with the trade. Okay, my second example is Dash USDT. This is actually a textbook example of double divergence with follow-up Quasimodo pattern. Let's analyze what happened here step by step again. Step 1. Confirming tradable lower lows. As you can see, the security ranges around the $100 price level. And after a while, we have our significant low right here. When I see such a structure, I add it to my watch list to check it out later, waiting for tradable lower lows. As you may see, We can see our tradable low-lows here, the third and the fourth ones. The next step is confirming the momentum losses with momentum boxes. I do not even draw them anymore because I can see the momentum loss after years of trading experience. However, you may want to draw it to see it clearly. As you can see on the screen, we are gradually losing the momentum. Nice. Now the next step, confirming divergences. RSI is clearly diverging in this example. MACD histogram is almost flat. There may be a little divergence here, but enough to confirm the overall divergence. Okay, I got this question all the time. How can I be sure that it's the end of down movement? There are a couple of extra steps that may help you before you enter a decision here. First one is candlesticks. As you can see, this pin bar here or spinning bottom, it does not matter what you call it, is your first significant sign of a reaction is close. I always look for long wicks. These are generally stop hunts from the smart money. Waiting for these candlesticks with long wicks and small bodies is a great idea to align with market makers. Second thing that I check for the support resistance area. As you can see, $85 is a tested support area. Price is willing to give a reaction around this number. Also, this is a nice round number, a natural strong price level. Finally, the entry. You have to develop your own enter styles. I have many methods to enter a trade. But my first rule of entry is simple. If I'm opening a long position, I wait for a green candlesticks. If I'm opening a short position, I wait for red candlesticks. The other thing that I may look for is the stock RSI crossover below the 50 line, just as a helper. As you can see, these green candlesticks are viable options to enter a trade for me. Will it work or not? I do not know. This is why I use risk-reward systems. Okay, what comes after a divergence if we see a market structure break? The Quasimodo pattern. This is a great example. If you miss the divergence trading, you can always wait for the Quasimodo pattern. So simple to trade. 1. Wait for the market structure break. As you can see here, this is where market structure breaks. 2. Wait for the first higher low around the similar price level with the left shoulder. Okay, this is also confirmed. 3. Check for possible entries. Now, this spinning bottom at the end is a great indication for me, a possible reaction point. You can also get help from stock RSI always. A crossover will be great. So you may take your chances from one of these green candlesticks and place your stop loss under this bottom. This would be a very nice quick trade. I like quick trades with 20x leverage, easy way of making money. This last example is sent by one of my subscribers who took a trade recently. I would like to go over it quickly and let's see what to look for. As you can see, the price consolidated for a while here, and then it had a very sharp pump and made our first significant high. If you check the momentum, you can see clearly that the security loses power. Buyers are getting exhausted. The strong inverse hammer at the top could be a great indication for us to wait for a reaction. RSI and MACD are diverging well. And this stock RSI crossover could be a great indication for us to find a red candlestick to enter. One thing I would want is this wick to be close to $30 price level, a strong resistance area and a round number. It would be more comforting for me before my entry. So, this would be a very nice trade. If you are having a hard time with divergences, do not trade divergences. Just wait for market structure breaks after divergences. As you can see, breaking the last higher low and creating the MSP. Then wait for the price to come back to left shoulder level. The next step is obvious. You see this nice pin bar here. Wait for the next red strong candlestick to enter a trade. I'm gonna say this once more. Quasimodo pattern is most likely to happen after a divergence setup, if you can spot the market structure breaks. Trading Quasimodo is simpler than trading divergences, a great strategy for beginners. Probably next month we are gonna combine order blocks and Quasimodo patterns for much better entries. Okay folks, I hope you gained some knowledge about divergences and the best practices of how to trade divergences. If you have any question in your mind, please leave a comment below. I'm happy to answer all of them. If you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like for me. Thank you, take care and see you soon.